I did have a wonderful opportunity round about the time I was looking at the various versions of this script. I read more than one, but the final one I found quite attractive. I was asked to host a documentary program, and it was called 1001 Inventions, and it dealt with, in a sense, the documentary took a beautiful form of a man from the 11th century, Persian man, incidentally, taking a group of modern students around a kind of magic museum. So the kids were from, 21st century, very much so, saying, "Oh my God, awesome," and things like that. It's so sweet. And I was from the 11th century. But what was interesting, to take your point, is that it showed very gracefully that Europe was going through what was called a dark age, and what they didn't realize was just down the road was this amazing explosion of every science known to us, and having taken part in that documentary, it gave me a perspective, a bigger map, a greater picture of that geographical area, of which Ibn Sina was one individual. So I didn't have to play a crazy one-off scientist. I played a man who lived in an environment of curiosity, of experiment, and of a quest for knowledge.
Is that what stands in the foreground for you from this movie? Is that the central motif of this movie for you? Because I thought it really portrayed in all the benefits of science quite well.
Well, you know what? Because I played Ibn Sina, I don't have to worry about the motif. I don't have to worry about the central message. That takes care of itself. All I need to be is useful to the movie by playing Ibn Sina as an absolutely committed, almost obsessive, 24/7 medical scientist who is fascinated and energized and loves the quest for knowledge and the handing on of that knowledge to his students.
You played quite a few historical figures in your long career. Well, what is the difference between playing a character that is totally fictitious and someone who's based on a real person, even if it's that far back as Ibn Sina? You can't meet him, of course.
My job, whenever I'm offered a character, my job is to give him flesh and blood, to make him real, to endow him with genuine patterns of human behavior, to make him vulnerable, susceptible to the people around him, to make him real. So there can be no difference at all between my approach to somebody who has lived and somebody who has not lived, because if he's well written, then he will come across as a cohesive, real human being, sharing all the traits that living people share. So my job is to bring life to that which is on the page, whether it's historical or whether it's fictitious.
I see. Does this story, since you are the son of a physician, have a personal component for you?
No, not at all. Not at all.
Okay.
No.
Yeah, and what is you also played quite a few figures from the Muslim world in your career. What is your relationship to the Muslim world? What would you say? Okay, do you see any different, or do you see any relation to...
I'm an actor. I have to breathe life into whatever character I portray, and I have to make him credible, serve the narrative, be useful to the movie, and be credible. You know, I've had the privilege of playing many great Jews as well. I'm an international instrument through which people can speak. That's my privilege. That's my journey.
I have to ask, since I'm a big fan of the movie Sexy Beast, and what are your thoughts on that film? It's over 10 years later, and would you ever consider working with Jonathan Glazer again?
I loved working with Jonathan. He's a genius. And if our paths cross, that would be quite wonderful. It was an extraordinary film, And it's still, I mean, it's not that old, it's only 10 years old, but it's still, it will always come across as a classic because his observation of patterns of human behavior was perfect. That's exactly what I'm talking about. That he completely understands personality, pressure, group dynamics, affiliations, loyalties, love lost, love gained. He completely understands the bigger picture. His map in that film is flawless. That's why it will always stand up.
I agree. I totally agree. And your venture to the Marvel world is also not quite finished, I've heard.
Oh, have you?
Can you? Yeah.
Have you heard that?
So some bird was singing that from,
really?
From the roof.
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
There's something that you can tell me about that?
No.
Or, no. Marvel snipers are on your head, probably.
You bet.
Yeah. So, what's next for you? And is there? Why have you? I wondered because I looked at your filmography and you played a lot of funny parts, but you now rarely do straight out comedies. Why is that?
I don't know.
No good offers, or?
I thought Iron Man 3 was quite funny.
I did too.
Good.
Yeah. Okay. Very